Good afternoon and good morning over there on the West Coast. Today I have Will Andre here with Nodcards, and without further ado, we'd love if you can introduce your company and what you guys do over there.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. It's great to be here. So Nodcards is an employee branding platform. If you think about the surface area that your business has based off of your employees, right? You might put them in hats, you might put them in polo shirts or any other sort of physical uniform. Think of Nodcards as the digital component to that, the digital complement to that. So we give every employee a link, a QR code, a digital business card, an email signature, and several other both physical and digital assets that help you expand your brand surface area really instantaneously. And so some of the value that our customers get right away from our platform is increased employee engagement. So giving them something to share that represents your brand is a huge value add to your business. Improved customer experience, right? So having a click to call, having a real person on the other end of that engagement is super valuable. Customers love the convenience of being able to scan a QR code or receive a link via text message or email that goes directly to a person at your company. And then I would say finally, in the big picture, you're going to be able to see your brand grow in real time, which is really fascinating and super exciting to see. So every time your team is engaged with online, their QR code is scanned, and somebody's clicking to get in touch with you or view your website or check out your Facebook, you're going to have access to that right away, so you can really see how your brand is performing for you.
Very exciting, and you have a term for that too, right? Is it digital jerseys or what?
Digital uniforms is kind of the mental model. If you think about it, a lot of branding sort of stops kind of halfway, right? So if you have let's say a fleet of trucks or something, you're in a service business, you're going to put the phone number on there. You're going to put your website on there. You might have a slogan that you'll get on there. You might even wrap the vehicle. But what about the folks that go in that vehicle that are actually out driving around and representing your business? They're going to have a hat. They're going to have a polo shirt. But there's so much activity that's happening online that organizations aren't currently capturing. Then that's where we try to we fill the gap for them. So that's being able to be discovered, in searches for your people, via like Google or even social media, and being able to surface those employees as actual touch points for your brand. It's really a great way to increase, like I said, your surface area for your brand.
Yeah, that's so true. And you see that kind of replicated across really any company doing good branding. I mean, for restaurants, for takeout, you'll have the logo on the side of the bag, right? On the side of the soft drink there, you just got to get the branding out there. And there's great ways to do it too, where it's, fun and, actually, rewarding for the employees too. They don't need to feel like a billboard or anything. But you bring up a great point. Like, your team members really are they can be potentially advocates for the company as well. Either directly or even indirectly if they, perhaps might be more introverted. Not everybody needs to get up on a mic and, scream to the world and talk about your brand, but everybody can kind of do their own part, to kind of promote the team and the company.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, just having the tools to do that is really a step in the right direction. I mean, if you think about it today, if you bring on a new employee, you probably give them an email address and, maybe a computer, and maybe a phone extension, if you have a sort of a central, phone system for your organization today. But that's really it. And so that's really a kind of a one-to-one a relationship that you're facilitating with your brand and your customers or your prospects, your potential customers. Mm-hmm. Being able to take this and turn your employees into a one-to-many is really where the amplification comes in for your organization in terms of your brand presence and the impact that it can have.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, when I go back to my hometown Seattle area, you see everybody in a Microsoft or Amazon shirts.
Yeah. That's this is just the digital component of that.
Yep, that's great. So how did you get to this place in your career? Like what led you to want to start Nodcards, and tell us a little bit more about your background.
Yeah, so I sort of started my career at a digital products agency where we were creating brand engagement for some of the biggest brands in the world. And so this was kind of Web 2.0-ish, where we were, creating apps and websites for big companies. And I was working directly with marketing teams inside of those, organizations. And so we had some great success in terms of, bringing new customers in, helping them find customers from these products that we were, creating for them. And when that wound down, I went into consulting, and so my clients were, again, marketers inside of these organizations. And one thing rang true across virtually every one of them was that brand consistency was really hard, and it's something that was really hard to measure. And so we started to think about, how do we enable, with a very light touch on their organization. Like, for example, we're set up for a central admin, so that they come in, they create your entire team. It takes about 20 minutes, and then syndicate it out to your entire employee base. And so now they have this suite of assets, of brand assets, that are available to them to use to go and promote your business. And so, that was really the impetus, was just finding this kind of common pain point. And then, the stats, once we dug into it, really back it up, where, you have, brand consistency studies have shown, have been able to contribute up to, 10% in increase in revenue. So it's a real opportunity for organizations to, to take advantage of some of the sort of digital equipment, so to speak, that's out there, to increase their brand surface area and get those touch points covered in a way that's really accretive to the value of the business.
Yep. Do you want to maybe highlight maybe a couple more areas where, employees can get involved for the purpose of branding? You mentioned email, business cards is one, swag. What are some easy lift items that any employee in a company can really get involved with, or you as a leader can, help your employees get involved with without asking too much from them?
Yeah, that's a great question. For example, one of the assets that we offer is a LinkedIn background banner, right, for your employees' LinkedIn profiles. And so that's got your logo, it's got this beautiful sort of brand image behind it that's all controlled from one place, and then it's got a QR code that goes directly to that employee's contact information, or I should say, whatever other sort of corporate information you want on there. So it might be your employee's direct email address, it might be their direct line, but then all of the other sort of links and calls to action on there are things that are directly beneficial to the business, whether that's putting people onto a sales promotion, or having them follow one of your social channels, or even collecting an email address in order to get access to some sort of special promotion or incentive that you might be offering. So these are all things that, once they're sort of deployed across your organization, you can let the employee determine whether they want to sort of be that brand ambassador, that passive brand ambassador, or whether they want to take their beautiful sharing link that we give them, that comes up with an awesome preview with their face and their title and their name and your brand logo, and whether they want to go and send that in the group text going, "Hey guys, I just got this new job, hit me up if you ever need accounting services, or let me be your your point of contact for your remodel or whatever." So there's lots of different ways that that employees can get involved. And what we find is that, just by offering this sort of a la carte menu of assets, that the employees just eat it up. It's really fascinating to see.
Yep. And the key point you have there is that even, brand ambassadors that might not be salespeople, maybe some of the more extroverted types could still participate without having too much lift on there, or asking them to change their behavior, or really, go out there and, start becoming salespeople.
That's exactly right. I mean, I think we see a lot of project managers and people who have an email signature, from Nodcards that they've installed, and they're getting, dozens of clicks a day in some cases, where it's the reason is because they just send tons of emails, and it's going out across their, their impact is quite broad across your customer base. Yep. And that's just bringing people deeper into your organization.
Yep. Yeah. And one of the biggest terms in branding is always consistency, right? Branding doesn't really happen unless you have consistency. That's the key. That's the key there. And what really your platform does is helps with the coordination of that. So it's hard to have consistency in your branding and your messaging without that level of coordination. And the bigger your company gets, the harder it gets to actually, perform that efficiently. So your platform really kind of helps these brands coordinate that consistent message and branding across all their employees and the organization, almost in a turnkey manner, right?
Yeah, that's 100% right. Again, we're centrally managed, so you'll have any number of admins inside your organization. We can split you up into different teams inside the platform, so that different teams can have different links and things like that. And it's just the consistency, and then I think the sort of like low effort, right? So every employee doesn't have to have an app that they download. It's literally a link that you can save on your phone, that on your home screen, that becomes a button that you push, and your Nod card pops up, and from there you can either copy the link and share it, or you can use some of the built-in sharing applications that we have, so that you can help promote the brand that way. And then when you make changes across the organization or the team, those changes are syndicated, to the to all the employees in that team. So it's just a great way to be able to consistently represent the brand. And then things change, and you can update it, and you can send a new notification to your team member that, hey, your email, we've changed your email signature. We now have the address, because people are clicking to get directions to our to our facility. So please go and update your your email signature.
Yeah, and image is everything too, especially for startups trying to compete out there. If you have a great branding strategy and something that's consistent, and you have this level of coordination, it's easy enough to do. It definitely makes your company as a whole look a lot more professional. That's going to get you a lot more looks potentially from customers and investors that might want to look into the company as well. So all those little details matter. Do you guys typically work with the founders at the startup level?
Yeah, absolutely. I think startups are really in need of this capability inside their org. I mean, when the reality is, when a customer or prospect lands on a Nod card, instantly that this is a serious company, that they've got their act together, and that they're putting the customer experience first. I think that's a big sort of unsung level up that we can offer to brands of all sizes is the response and the sense of comfort and trust that goes into that user or that customer when they land on a Nod card is really something to behold.
That's great. And then for larger companies, do you guys tend to work with like the branding team and coordinate with them?
Yeah, we work with brand managers. Sometimes it's a social manager. So the people who are responsible for sort of promoting the brand, across the various digital touch points. Social is a huge pickup, particularly if you have like a sales team. It's a great way to to sort of put their link out there. Again, every time you share one of these, it's like an ad for your brand. It's got your logo, it's got your employee's picture, it's got their name, their title, and a one-click to contact link that just gives every customer or prospect that sort of instant connection with your business. So yeah, I mean, we'll work with brand team, marketers, social media managers. Occasionally founders like to get in on it, and they'll be really sort of hands-on with their brand, and we love that too.
Yeah, that's key right there. Any good examples of companies that you might work with that are just really doing a great job at it? Obviously, it sounds like having Nod cards at the base level just to get things right. Do you have any clients or customers that might be taking it above and beyond that you can point out?
Yeah, we do. So I mean, a great way that we've got some great stories on our blog. So anybody that's watching or picks this up can head over to our blog and see some of those stories. So we'll do a welcome post typically when we bring on a new customer. We're a little bit behind, so we've got a few that we need to catch up on probably. But yeah, go check those out and you can see. But one of the things that we also offer to our customers as part of our package is these like stand-up desktop signs, right? So if you have any sort of campus where you have salespeople or employees sitting at a desk where you're having interactions face-to-face with customers, these are amazing way for to build that connection with your customer right away. And so they just sit on they sit on the desk.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
great. And these print right out from our platform. Every employee gets one, and then they print right out and they slide right into a little photo frame. And we offer those, for free for customers. So definitely take us up on that. So just in terms of like vertical, it's really popular in automotive. All of our automotive customers are using these and having great success, and they love it. It feels great, for your employees to, be able to sit there, have their, their little piece of representation there on their desk. And then, so automotive is a big vertical for us. We see a lot in travel and leisure. So we've got a lot of travel agencies who are doing a really good job. There's a couple of those stories, on our blog as well. And basically any industry where, where the customer experience is really the differentiator, you're going to get a lot of value out of Nodcards.
Yeah, that's a great point. I guess what other branding trends do you see coming up this year? What are your thoughts on, like, I feel like there's a lot more personalization happening, especially in B2B, where people are trying to move away from just being like this, this dry business brand, I guess, if you will. Like, I see people on their emails that are coming to us, they'll have like a photo of the person. So, you see a face there.
Yeah.
Anything else that you kind of see popping up this year?
Yeah, on that note, I think there's two kind of key things, and we're at a crossroads, I think. We're coming up on a crossroads, and it may be like a 16-way crossroads, right? Like, we don't know which way this is going to go, but and this is the impact of kind of AI. And so, I've got sort of two things that I see are kind of coming into focus. One is, people-led content, right? So understanding where having a brand presence that is people first is going to start to cut through more than it ever has, right? And so having your team really be the face of your organization, whether that's on social media or in emails or whatever it is. That's going to be really important as consumers start to sort of, tune out or get overwhelmed or bombarded with AI-driven content. Now, some of that stuff is really cool, right? You need some of that stuff to, get the whiz bang and the cool visuals, and look at this, video of a dog on a rocket ship or whatever it is.
I think we're getting a little too carried away now.
Yeah, I mean, and it's only going to get more, more sort of edgy, I think, as as these technologies, make their way into organizations. But having that people first content strategy is really going to separate your organization from your competition. I think people really want that connection. They want to know that, if they're, leaving a comment on something, or if they're clicking a link to, in a post, that they're going to be connected with that organization in a way that is, not going to waste their time or just be sort of screaming into the void. So that's one. And then the other thing is that I think, on the same trend of AI, I think if you zoom out and just look sort of at the trend that's happening there, we all saw, I assume many of us saw sort of the news around, DeepSeek being the sort of challenger to many of the extremely well-funded and sort of incumbent AI brands. And what they did was they basically devalued the entire value proposition or the moat for that industry. And so I think more and more you're going, when the capabilities and features of things become commoditized, what we're going to find is that your brand really is your moat now. And so that's what you stand for, how you work with your customers, what the benefits of working with you are, as opposed to, oh, this does this and it's cheaper and it's, all of these other things. It's really going to be about the way that your company, builds trust and how it makes your customers feel. So, brand is the new moat in that regard.
Yeah, that's a great point. That and community, which a lot of it comes back to branding, right? But just having people that, are advocates that will stand around your brand. I think with the world moving towards AI tools, it's a great productivity hack. But at the end of the day, the pendulum's going to always swing back the other way, right? So I think people are always going to go back to that human touch. They're going to want that human interaction. And, to your point, you're 100% right. I think people are going to start to demand more of, people taking the time to actually have humans involved in the process, like actually interacting with you, especially in customer service, especially having, these team members on within your company as like brand advocates out there, just feeling like they're a part of the team, right? And maybe even your customers feel like they're a part of the team, or your partners do. That's all going to be, very important, because to your point, it's easier and cheaper than ever to launch a new software product or a new company. You could spin them up overnight, right? So everybody's going to be competing with the same features, and it's just going to become noise at some point, right? But eventually, people are just going to want to work with the companies they want to work with because they trust them and they identify with that brand, frankly.
Yeah, that's the name of the game. It's only going to become more important as as some of the noise is going to start to really enter the channels, and I think that being able to connect with real people is going to be just sort of an unlock for brands that want to grow.
Yep, totally agree. So you probably learned a lot launching Nodcards, maybe some previous companies as well too. I guess what kind of tips would you offer for other founders that are launching a company for the first time? Maybe some mistakes that you've made along the way, or some ideas that you've unlocked just from your own experience.
Yeah, tons of mistakes. I mean, that's part and parcel with being a founder and an entrepreneur. Probably too many to list out. But I would just say be patient and stay focused. And you don't have to necessarily niche down, as they say, but staying focused on sort of what the what the mission is, and lean on your values, really enumerate your values, and that can become sort of the foundation that you can make your decisions off of. So you're not constantly having to make decisions. I mean, you will be having to make decisions, but you won't have to determine if this is the right course of action, because you'll be supported by the foundation of your mission and your vision and your brand values. So that's sort of one thing in terms of how to have some durability so you don't get burned out. But stay consistent, talk to customers, and leverage those conversations into into improvements that you can make in your business. And then chunk things up, right? There's always this mountain of stuff to do. But if you can take these and put them into smaller chunks, break them up so that you can get through things that are sort of natural milestones in that task, then you'll have a much better time managing the mountain of things that you need to do on a daily basis, and celebrate those things. One of our core values is humor, right? So we don't take ourselves too seriously, and being able to look at this as a journey, and one that you need to be patient with. That those are all things that that have been successful for me. And you then get all the learnings from all the failings that happen along the way, whether that's a marketing campaign. I mean, I've had entire businesses that I've started that have basically not materialized in the way that you wanted them to, and you just have to be able to move on and put them out of your mind. In fact, I was going through my camera roll the other day, and I had a hat from some company that I had started, and I was like,
I picked this up too.
I was like, it was an awesome hat. Like, I spent hours on the logo and the brand, and getting it right, and getting the right URL and the short URL and all, and then it became a photo in my 50,000 photos in my camera roll. So there's no shame in that. I mean, that's absolutely education that is valuable, and you most likely paid something for. So get the lesson for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of people never get those lessons too. So it's I really look at entrepreneurship as like a career. It's it's a journey as opposed to like the end destination. Like you said, you don't start a company just to, say, hey, if I don't IPO this thing's a complete failure, right? But it's like every little win along the way. Even if you get a base hit, right? That's still a win. Even if you do have those experiences where unfortunately you do fail, if you don't take it personally, you look at it as an opportunity to learn and maybe a great memory, right? I've had
Yeah.
some like really good friendships come out of like failed companies because, people, quote unquote, as the cool kids say these days, stood on business. um, so we would all fail together, but, from that you realize, hey, we're all similar people, the same interesting life experiences and interests. And, we all stood there for each other, even when this thing failed, like we could all depend on each other. That's the essence of a friendship, right? And you can walk away with those relationships stronger than ever. And I've, from time to time from, previous companies I've had, I'll dig up like a little business card or something and just have a laugh about it. And I'll just be like, well, I can't believe I did the branding that way, right? Like we had this company called Spot Survey where we had like a little dog, and it was like the corniest little thing, but those are early attempts at branding experiences. So, I get a good chuckle when I dug that up.
Yeah, yeah, it's always great to come across your sort of your box of memories from your business ventures where I actually keep notebooks. That so I'll a notebook might last me 6 months, and when that one runs out, I've actually put it in a closet. And one day, I'm going to go back and go through it and just have those reminders of things that of the minutia of running a business, whether you're prepping for a call or whether you've got some sort of a campaign that you're getting ready, and all of the checklists and everything that that I've been working on or was working on at the time. I just love being able to go back and look at that stuff, as a reminder, right, that it is a journey and there's a lot to do, and that the road to success is bumpy.
Yep. Yeah, and there's a lot you could read in books, but it doesn't do you justice. Like living through it, like gives you that intuition. So for the next challenge that you'll meet, you'll be ready for it, and you'll say, "Hey, I've been here before."
Oh, absolutely.
Now I know, I got the feeling. I know what to do. I don't need a book to tell me what to do. Even though
Right.
you want to be able to pair both, like learn from other people's failures, read the books and all that. But as you get this real life experience, you also get that gut instinct to be able to make decisions and feel and know what to do in the right moment.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because sometimes people rely too much on like spreadsheets to tell the story, but sometimes the story isn't there. Sometimes the story is as simple as you've explained earlier, just talking to customers, right? It seems like the most basic thing, but a lot of companies don't do it. They'll just go out and start building features, and they'll look at these spreadsheets and try to draw conclusions from it. But if you listen to your customers, a lot of times, just like a one-on-one conversation could be very revealing, actually, to what you should be doing or what the experience actually is like for your customers. And if you have enough of those conversations, you'll get really deep down to the heart of the matter, and ultimately, hopefully, build a better product because of it. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to help other people solve their problems that they'll give us money to solve for. So a lot of times we forget that when we're building cool tech products.
Yeah, no, it's essential, and I think it's one of those things that people just need to push through. Once you get a customer, check in with them, regularly. They'll appreciate it. Number one, so you're going to build retention and minimize some of your churn, and it's going to be just the best insights that you can get. Is talking to people and exploring how they're using your product and what they wish you had, like what they really like. That always feels good. And sometimes you're solving problems that you didn't know that they had, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of times to get those early adopters, they become advocates, part of the team, if you will.
Yeah.
They really feel like they're committed to and involved in your success almost, and want to see you successful. If you're willing to make it a two-way street and actually listen to them and incorporate their feedback into the product.
Yeah. No, it's essential for sure.
Great. So I guess any other potential takeaways that you want people listening to today to be able to learn about Nodcards and why they should go pick you guys up today?
Yeah, thanks for this. Obviously, this has been great, and it's really helpful to be able to explain our story. I think that for anybody watching, your brand is bigger than you might think, and it has it can have an impact as long as you're staying consistent and actually putting out your brand into the world. Your employees are the best way to do that. You're going to put them in a shirt, you're going to put them in a hat, you're going to put them in a branded truck. But so much of the world is online now that it's, there's a big gap there if you're not, doing some sort of employee branding or putting your team in a digital uniform. And I mean, when it comes to us specifically, I mean, we're really dedicated to your success. Our time to value is instant. And so I know that that's really important. So you're not having to, spend 2 weeks in a training or an onboarding. We'll get you set up. We'll actually help you build your brand inside our platform if you feel like that's something that's too much for your team to do, or for somebody inside your org to do. But we're here and ready to help you grow. And it's really cool to watch your brand grow in real time, I must say.
Yeah, that's great. And I think what you guys really specialize in too is just that turnkey motion, right? The level of coordination you can offer to get everybody in your company engaged as brand advocates without asking too much from them. Actually, that's what makes it so simple and easy.
Yeah, that's it's a great value for sure.
Great. Well, where can people learn more about your product today?
Yeah, Nodcards.com. Check it out. You can get a free trial. We'll give you a free month if you reach out to us. And then, we'll see you come in and we'll get you all set up.
Awesome. Yeah, and we're proud to be partners with Nodcards as well. You can grab it in our marketplace or go to the website, nodcards.com. Looking forward to growing our companies together and being a part of this entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, it's great.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you.